Some Japanese colours change their form when they become adjectives, a little bit like the English noun mess, which changes to messy when it becomes an adjective. So here on the left we have mess. That's a noun. Now remember, a noun is a thing like a table or a chair, a teacher or a disaster. These are all things and they're nouns. On the right-hand side, we have an adjective, messy. Now, an adjective is a word which describes a noun. So a messy teacher, a messy table, and so on. Now let's have a look at the two example sentences and see which one we would use in each of these sentences. Okay, so if we want to say, I like a, and then we want to describe this disorderly state, we can choose mess, the noun, or we can choose messy, the adjective. Okay? If we were to say mess, I like a mess. Well, that would work, wouldn't it? We like that thing which is a mess. Let's see what happens if we put the adjective or the describing word messy in. Here we get, I like a messy. That makes no sense at all, does it? So in this sentence, we actually have to use the noun form of the word mess. Okay? I like a mess. Let's have a look at the second sentence. I like a something room. Now let's have a look what happens when we use the noun here. I like a mess room. That makes no sense at all, does it? Because we're describing the room, so a noun is not used to describe another noun. So what we need here is not a noun, but an adjective. So let's try the adjective. I like a messy room. That makes perfect sense. Okay? So I like a mess. That's the sort of sentence where we need a noun. And I like a messy room. Now let's look at what happens when we're working with colours. Okay, in English sentences, whether the colour is a noun or an adjective, it doesn't change its form. So if you want to indicate that you like the colour white, then you can simply say, I like white, no problem. Again, if you want to describe something as white, in other words, if you want to use the adjectival form of white, no problem. I like a white room. That's why it's a little tricky to understand Japanese colours, because like mess and messy, Japanese colours come in two forms, the noun form and the adjectival form, or at least some of them do. Now these are the oldest Japanese colours, and here we have aka, kuro, shiro, and ao. Now these are the noun forms of the verb, so each one of those is a noun. If you wanted to say, I like red, then you'd use this form. Aka ga suki desu. I like red. But if you wish to describe something as red, then you're going to have to change the noun into its adjectival form. And it's quite easy in Japanese. We simply add I on the end, and we get akai. So a red pen, for example, would be not aka pen, but akai pen. In the same way, the colour blue, ao, becomes aoi, a blue as in the adjective, aoi pen, a blue pen. Shiro becomes shiroi, shiroi pen, a white pen. And kuro becomes kuroi, a black pen. The next group of adjectives are made by adding the word iro, meaning colour, to a character. The first one, ki iro, the colour of yellow, so yellow. And the second one is cha iro, the colour of tea, in other words, brown. Now, as they stand on the left-hand side, they are nouns. But just as we did with the first group, we can turn them into adjectives by adding the hiragana I on the end, and we get chairoi, brown, as in a brown pen, chairoi pen, and kiroi, kiroi pen, a yellow pen. We now have two final categories of Japanese colours, and these are colours which cannot become adjectives with the addition of hiragana I, but which can only be used as nouns. Now, we already know that any noun in Japanese can be linked to another noun with the particle no. So that's the system that we have to use for the final colours. Now, here's one which is made by adding iro, meaning colour, to hai, meaning ash. Hai iro, in other words, grey. So if you want to say a grey pen, then you've got to link it with the linking particle no, and you end up with hai iro no pen. These two colours, which relatively speaking are more modern than the core colours of red and blue and black and white, these also function only as nouns. So we cannot say murasaki I. We have to link murasaki, or purple, to another noun with the linking particle no. So a purple pen would be murasaki no pen. And it's the same with the colour green, midori. To link midori to another noun, you use the linking particle no, and you get midori no pen, for example, a green pen. Our final group of colours are the most modern. They've been imported into Japanese over the last 100 to 150 years, and they come from foreign languages other than Chinese, mostly English. They also only function as nouns. They cannot become adjectives, and so they are linked with other nouns with our linking particle no. For example, orange, that's easy to see is orange, and if we want to say an orange pen, we would say orange no pen. Pinku. Again, to link pinku with another noun, you use the linking particle no, and you get pinku no pen, for example. So, in conclusion, all of the Japanese colours in their noun form may be linked to another noun with a linking particle no, but only the following colours can become adjectives ending in I. So, ao can be a noun, but aoi is the adjective. Shiro, the noun white. Shiroi, adjective white. Kuro, the noun black. Kuroi, the adjective black. Aka, the noun red. Akai, the adjective red. Kiro, the noun yellow. Kiroi, the adjective yellow. And finally, chairo, the noun brown, and chairoi, brown, the adjective. And that's how we use colours in Japanese.